Okay, today we're going to take a look at solving quadratics, but this time our roots are going to have complex roots, or they're going to be complex. So the only way you can't solve when solving a quadratic with complex roots is by factoring. So this leaves us taking the square root, completing the square, and the quadratic formula. This equation has no b, so I'm going to solve by taking square roots. So I'm going to subtract 50 from both sides so that I get 2x squared equals negative 150. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, so I get x squared equals negative 75. Then I'm going to take the square root of both sides. When I take the square root of both sides, know that I've got to do an imaginary. So I'm going to get x equals I root 75. Root 75 is 3 times 25, so that then simplifies to plus or minus 5I root 3. So there are my two roots. Okay. In this case, this one looks like it can be factored, but there are no factors of 36 that add to negative 10. So because there's nothing in front of the a, and this is even, this makes this a fairly simple problem to complete the square. So I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides, and I'm going to get a squared minus 10 equals 10a equals negative 36. And now I'm going to take half of my 10 and square it. So that gives me 25. I'm going to add 25 to both sides. When I add 25 to both sides, negative 36 plus 25 is negative 11. And then this side factors to a minus 5, that whole quantity squared. So again, I'm going to take the square root of both sides, and I'm going to get a minus 5 equals plus or minus I root 11. And then if I add 5 to both sides, my solutions are going to be 5 plus I root 11 and 5 minus I root 11. Okay. Last example here, going to bring everything over to one side. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides and subtract 6n. So I'm going to get 3n squared minus 6n plus 5 equals 0. Now I could complete the square, but I'd have to divide everything by 3, and that's going to give me a fraction, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do the quadratic formula. You know it, you love it, you can sing it, right? So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right. And so we're just going to plug and chug. So b is negative, a is 3, b is negative 6, and c is 5. So x equals negative of a negative 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times 5. Okay. All over 2 times 3. So that's going to give me 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 60 all over 6. Okay. And 36 minus 60 is negative 24. So we're going to get 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 24 all over 6. 24 is 4 times 6, so that becomes 6 plus or minus 2I root 6 divided by 6. The 6's, the 2's on the outside can all be reduced by 2, so it's 3 plus or minus I root 6 all over 3 when we divide everything by 2. So hopefully today you learned how to solve a quadratic with complex roots. Have a math-tastic day.